What up, my peoples? What up? What up? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, world? What's going on? It's your boy, the author. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. I just thought I'd make this video, man. I know y'all gearing up for the holidays, man. But, I hope everybody's being safe out there, gearing up. Nothing better than the holidays and a time to gear up before the holidays. So, peace to you and yours. All the feedback I've been getting, I appreciate it. The brothers making the comments and stuff like that. But I wanted to make this video, man. It's a year later, actually. I actually was a part of the protest with the brother. Keep forgetting my man's name, but it's Keith Scott. I don't know how many of you heard about it, but last year in Charlotte, man, his brother was killed by police, and his name was Keith Scott. If you haven't heard about it, you can Google it. But it was like a 3 or 4 day protest they had here in Charlotte, man. They had CNN, all the news teams were out there. One of the actual news reporters got tackled live on the air, man. Even when CNN was in Baltimore, none of the actual CNN reporters were tackled. This guy was tackled, man, down there in Charlotte, man, next to the Omni Hotel where they had the protests. And yeah, man. So basically, what happened is after the police got into the altercation, I don't know if the brother was had some mental issues or something like that, but police asked him to comply. I guess he was pulled over. Police asked him to comply. He didn't follow the orders, and he just winded up dead. People didn't know really why the police wouldn't release, or the press wouldn't release the actual video until like after the protests were over. But the first place, and it happened right out here in University City, where I live, and actually they ransacked the Walmart that's out here on North Tryon. That was the first place that was hit on Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday was the fiercest days for protests. And I went down there, man. And like I said, that was like my first protest. That was my first time actually, being a part of something like that. And it was amazing, man, because you can go down there and be a part of the protest, not go home, and actually be able to see on TV live where I just, was. And it was something else, man. That the first Wednesday and Thursday was crazy. Friday everything kind of calmed down, and Saturday things were relaxed. But Tuesday, I think the Walmart used to be 24 hours. After that happened, they had to get the SWAT team out there to protect the Walmart, because actually all the nonsense kind of started out here in University City, and they had to get the SWAT team to protect the Walmart because they was tearing the Walmart up. And I think the first day people was like standing in the highway, stuff like that, and then the next day you had to protest Uptown. And at the time I was big taking a bus, man, and it was right in front of the bus terminal. Actually, I was coming home from work, and the buses couldn't even get uptown to park. Like where the Charlotte, the Cats, where the Charlotte bus system, where all the hub where all the buses come from, next to the Omni Hotel, they couldn't even get down there. Like that was blocked off with the protesters. They parked like blocks from downtown. They had to create a new hub for the buses. I mean, it was like that, and they were the worst part of the protest was right directly in front of the bus terminal, across the street from Time Warner Arena. It was Time Warner. Now it's Spectrum Arena, where they have all the basketball, football games. So it was right there in the heart of Uptown. And basically the SWAT team I was on that street basically, um, where pretty much, where you're going on that street, you'll go right past it's on the same street with the bus terminal on the right hand side and the Omni Hotel on the right hand side. And if you're going downtown, if you're coming uptown, it's reversed. And they had the SWAT team actually blocking off the street. So if you're coming down the street, they had cops on every corner. And if you're coming down the street, the SWAT team blocked you off. They had a line of SWAT people right there with their sticks and they shields and they sticks. And you couldn't, they had the sidewalk blocked off, the street all the way to the next sidewalk. And you couldn't even, it was hard to see what was going on down the street. And they was spraying so much tear gas that the actual wind was blowing it up the street in our face. And we wasn't even actually down there. And they was blowing all that tear gas up because they was afraid some of us would mix with them down there. And because the other side was crazy. They were running around and stuff like that. They wouldn't let us down there. And sometimes it kind of makes me wonder because I'm like, why wouldn't they let us? I guess because they didn't want to have a more out of control situation. But then in some ways it was like, dang, was that stage? Was they doing something else down there? I know my conspiracy mind kind of kicks in when I think about it now, but it was pretty serious, man. And you had people out there, and Thursday was the march. And I have some of the videos on my channel. I'll go ahead and paste some of my videos in the description box. You guys probably weren't even aware that they were on my channel because I have about 50 some odd videos, and those are part of my earlier videos. Those are from 2016, last year, when this incident happened. Actually, though, it was so intense. It was a brother, I think his name was Justin Carr. He got killed in the protest. He was on the other side. He was on that same street. I want to say it was East Trade. He was on that street, but he was on the other side where they was running around all crazy. And he had got shot, and he got killed. People thought it was a SWAT officer, but they blamed it. They said some other guy killed them, and they pinned it on the guy. I don't know really what happened. I wasn't right there. I wasn't at that end. I was directly up the street from where they were. And, I have some footage of that. Actually, more of my footage is Thursday, though, when they were marching. We were marching around the city. And then the press was marching along with us. I don't know. I felt sometimes like I was more like a press member than actually. But, I mean, everybody who was there was kind of a part of it. But, like, the press was just kind of like there. I mean, it seemed like, I just grew up hearing about all these protests about the 60s and the civil rights movement. And then it was like, okay, man, well, you want to support your people. But at the same time, it didn't seem like it had that unity with it. You had a lot of people marching and stuff like that. But in some ways it was unity, but some ways it was split, where some people wanted to do one thing, some people wanted to do something else. But I was pretty much with the crowd, man. But would I do it again? I probably wouldn't, man. And I'm gonna get to that in just a second. But so Wednesday I was on Trade Street, where all the SWAT team was. Thursday we marched around and went. It was an actual march. So Wednesday we was kind of like at a standstill with the SWAT officers. Thursday we marched around the city. Around Panther Stadium, Uptown, past the epicenter, kind of made a loop around past the courthouse, and actually went to the expressway, which was kind of wild. But you had some I think Wednesday night. Once I left and went home on Wednesday night, I heard the governor, the previous governor, Pat McCrory. After Wednesday, he called the National Guard in. And I don't know. Like I said, he's now there's a new governor, I think, for 2016. But on Wednesday night, he called the act. He said I'm not putting up with this, with the destruction of property, because I mean people were smashing the business the windows of businesses on Trade Street. He said I'm not putting up with this. I'm going ahead and I'm going to call in the National Guard. So on Thursday, when we were out there marching, the National Guard was out there with the police. And when we marched over the overpass, and we went to the highway, some people stepped in the middle of the street. They started firing, man. They started firing like I don't know if it was real bullets. I think that it might have been rubber bullets. But once they was firing, everyone started running, and they got off everybody got off the highway and whatnot. But I mean, it was a protest, kind of like the heat of the moment type thing. But it was crazy once you went down there, because part of the protest, people went down on the highway. Some people went on the overpass. Some people were like, man, don't go on the highway. That's stupid. So I guess part of the protest, people want to take a knee on the highway, kind of like affect traffic. But and some people was down like under the underpass, just standing there. But they started firing, man. I got out of there. I ran as well with everybody else. But well, here's the thing, man. I mean, yeah, there is police brutality. But at the same time, man, what I didn't really like about the march is it didn't seem like everyone was together. You had certain people who wanted to take a knee, certain people like, don't take a knee, stand up. And it was all this confusion, especially toward the end. And I just broke off. But the thing is, too, when they were firing shots at us, it was some people who went out there and shook hands and hugged the National Guard. I'm like, man, you can't shake hands with the same people who were firing at us. I mean, even though I know that a lot of those people firing were probably the CMPD, but still, I mean, you can't shake hands and hug. Like, they have a little black girl going around at different police stations giving out hugs. I mean, it's not going to really work that way, man. The deer can't hug the lion. That's not going to cause peace. The deer can't hug the lion and then expect for the hunt to stop. The sheep can't hug the wolf, and expect for, there to be peace where it won't be hunted anymore. The sheep can't hug the wolf. The gazelle can't hug the lion and try to, cause peace that way. Hug its way and the hug is not going to stop the hunt. The deer hugging the lion is not going to stop the lion from hunting the deer. The wolf, or the sheep hugging the wolf, is not going to stop the wolf from hunting the sheep. The chicken can hug the fox, but it's not going to stop the fox from trying to get into the hen house. So that's really what it is, man. I mean, that's not going to stop the situation that we're in. But unfortunately, not only are we in a situation where, we're still competing with other races and other groups, but at the same time, the black community is eating itself alive by way of single parent homes, meaning, there's no unity within a community. So if there's no unity within your community, how can you fight against the outer forces that you have to compete against? I mean, the lion can't compete against, or for example, the deer can't hope to survive or escape its prey if it's trying to hunt each other, while at the same time it's still being hunted by other lions. I mean, you imagine that deer is trying to hunt other deers, but they're still being hunted by other predators themselves. That's tight. That's kind of the situation that I think that the quote unquote African Americans or Hebrew Israelites or Egypt, whatever you want to call yourself, but the copper colored people in America and abroad are that's the situation we're facing. Even in blacks in the Caribbean are fighting each other. Jamaicans are killing Jamaicans at a high rate. And Africans are killing the Hutus and the Tutsis. Africans killing other Africans as well. Blacks are killing other blacks in the U.S. So it's all over, man. It's all over the world. I'm not saying that there isn't, whites killing other whites and things of that nature, but when you're the lowest on the totem pole in terms of, because of your skin tone, you're the lowest on the totem pole in terms of economics and resources, and you're pretty much on the bottom, then you have to have the most peace within your group because you're already having a hard enough time competing for resources. So everyone's on the bottom. Every group that's on the bottom is going to always be hunted by those on the top. If I can't beat somebody on the top, I can always hunt those on the bottom. So if you're on the bottom, you don't have time to hunt each other as well. And that's what we see in the black community, and that's has a lot to do with the leadership in the black community. And the leadership in the black community is coming from the black women, who mostly are all crazy. But yeah, I probably wouldn't do it. If you ask me would I do another protest, I probably wouldn't, man. And here's why. I mean, at the time when I did that, I didn't know that Black Lives Matter were the ones pretty much they pretty much spearhead or lead all of the protests. From the ones in Charlotte to the ones in Baltimore. Any protest where any brothers being shot where they had a protest. Because when Charlotte had that protest for the brother Keith Scott, Atlanta had their own protest for that brother as well. Because a lot of people from Charlotte end up going to Atlanta for a lot of reasons. And a lot of people from Atlanta come to Charlotte. So they marched for him as well. It was more brutal in Charlotte in terms of the violence. But I don't think you really had a lot of people getting killed except for that one guy. But as far as the breaking glass and the CNN reporter got tackled, but it wasn't a lot of violence like that. But you had people in Atlanta marching for that brother as well. But the thing is, Black Lives Matter kind of are spearheaded, or they're the forefront of all of your marches and protests, and now a lot of these protests are led by women or lesbians and things of that nature. And you might say, well, what does being a lesbian have to do with it? Well, I just can't really get behind a protest that isn't led in a patriarchal fashion. Now, the civil rights movement, some people may laugh at that. Some people respect it. Some people respect Martin Luther King Jr. Some people don't. But again, I mean, in some ways, people look at it as fluff. I see that as well in some ways. But here's the thing, though. The civil rights movement, at least it was led by men. If not, Martin Luther King Jr. was the leader of the civil rights movement and the protest. But, I mean, even if Martin Luther King, if he marched in, Selma, if they had another protest going on at the same time in some other city or state, it was still some male who led that. Some male preacher, probably more than likely. And I don't totally get behind all these black preachers, but it was a male preacher, a male pastor, a group of deacons, or a pastor who usually led the civil rights movement marches, whether they were in whatever city. And some people think that Martin Luther King Jr. was an agent. I get that as well. But still in all, even if he was an agent, even if the CIA had him on a take, because I know, what's his brother's name? Richard Wright had this book called Uncle Tom's Little Children. And I think his book came out, I want to say around the 30s. He had one story. This book had it was like 4 stories in one novel. And one of the stories, I think there was a protest, and the black preacher was the one who was the leader, pretty much, of the people. And the people wanted to protest, and that black preacher had to talk with the mayor, and the mayor and the sheriff used to all tell the black preacher how to control his people. So, the people thought that the black preacher was for their side, but actually the preacher was a double agent. So what he did was he used to go to the governor and or to the mayor or to the leader, the white leadership in town, and they used to tell him what to tell the masses. And at the end of that story, the preacher finally stood up and started, trying to lead without being led, so to speak. So he tried to lead and actually lead authentically, actually ended up becoming the voice of the people. But y'all should check that book out, man. I think it's called Uncle Tom's Little Children by Richard Wright. And like I said, it's a 4-part story, and the preacher was pretty much in that, I think the 3rd story in the book. But anyway, not to go off on a tangent, but all those civil rights movement marches and things of that nature, they were pretty much led by a patriarchy type of system. They were led by the men, straight men. However, now in Black Lives Matter, straight men don't really have a place in the movement at all. The movement is led by pretty much lesbian women. And some of those lesbian women are mostly like biracial lesbian women, or, and a lot of those. And then the thing is, too, if you go to their site, they don't really support patriarchy at all, They don't support a man being the head of the family. They support a female-led, a matriarchal family. And blacks have had that for the past 30 or 40 years, and it's been disastrous. Our communities are worse than ever. And even though, a lot of black females, most won't take responsibility for what's going on, they're the only ones to blame because they are ahead of the black community, by betrayal and by default. But I mean, they are ahead now. Of course, they won't take responsibility for it. But I don't believe a matriarchal system works without the man. All that estrogen and no testosterone is horrible. You get that's why you get all these over emotional men, boys, and the ones that are lucky enough to make it to men are overly emotional men or worshipers of women who are not all, and women aren't all special. They're human beings, and some are evil and some are good. They're human beings before they're women. So, but yeah, man. So that being said, that the leadership is different. Which I could tell the energy out there was different. It didn't seem as serious. It didn't seem like we were being taken very seriously. I didn't really feel like until after the shooting with the National Guard troops, I didn't really feel a need to really take it that seriously. It was like it had a serious element, but then again it didn't. I mean, you can kind of tell you were part of something, but then again, you didn't feel like you were a part of something. And I don't think I'm the only one who felt like that. And I'm glad I was a part of it, so I can actually speak to experience instead of just saying, man, I ain't gonna be a part, and you've never really been a part of it. Not saying you have to be a part of something to know you don't want to be a part of it, but to be able to just sit there and analyze it and actually internalize it. And then it took me a year just to be able to verbalize what I felt. And it's just like I'm saying now, it's like you were a part of something, but you weren't a part of something. It's like the movement. It's like you felt like you're a part of a movement, but then again, you felt like an innocent bystander. You felt like it was sort of serious, but then again, it wasn't serious. Now, of course, the National Guard and the CMPD was serious, but I didn't really feel that with us. You felt like there was kind of like a togetherness, but then again, it was a bunch of individuals out there as well. Especially when you had some people talking about taking a knee at the light, and then you have another guy with a bullhorn with the march as well, talking about, no, we standing up, no, 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 we standing up, we ain't taking a knee, we standing up, no, 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 we standing up, and he's directly adjacent. Like, I thought he was a part of the march, and he was standing there, talking. And I'm like, well, what do you do? I mean, and then some of the people who had taken a knee started getting up, and it's like, well, you got that imbalance right there. So, I mean, you can't be like that, man, when you're with people, because when that SWAT team lined up, everybody was on the same page. Everybody was serious. Everybody was ready to go. They were trained and they were ready. Even on the highway, when they started shooting, all of the cops, all of the National Guard, they're all on the same page. Even when I was in the military, and 20 years before that, when I was in the Navy, we were all on the same page. We all were in unison. Everybody knew if you attacked, everyone attacked. If you ran, everyone ran. If you had to stand in ranks, everyone stood in ranks. We were all together. So that's why, like I said, when I was when I was in the Navy, our division, in boot camp, my division was 417, and you actually felt a part of that. And regardless of, you were part of it. Like, my mother was against it. Oh, you fighting for the military, don't really care. It's a job, man. Whether you go in the military or you stay on the outside, you're still serving the needs of America. Every job you do, you're serving the needs of America, whether you go in the military or you don't. So a lot of people were just in there for jobs. But I did notice one thing, that we were all together, and you felt like you were a part of something. So it wasn't like and I'm not saying that, I'm telling everybody to go into the military. No, it's not for everyone. During that time, I didn't think I had many options. And I'm glad I chose that one. It got me out in the world, and I learned a lot. But and it had a lot of suck times too. Like, you wanted to choke somebody, and it was a lot of hard times as well. But at the same time, I will say this: it was like we were all together, especially like in boot camp. We all were in unison. You all know you had a goal. You had something in mind. We didn't have that type of unity in the march. I didn't feel any of that unity, that togetherness. That I didn't feel any of that. It was kind of iffy. It was like, yeah, you were kind of part of something, but you kind of wasn't. And even too, when they marched, some people took to the streets on the overpass. Some people went down on the underpass. They split up. It was like, yeah, some of you who want to go this way, and some of you who want to go that way, go that way. And you pretty much splitting your crowd up, man. I mean, we need to be staying together at all times. Excuse me. You shouldn't have certain people that want to. This group can go this way. This group can go. No, we stay together, man. They got cops patrolling, and at the same time, it was I'll never forget. It was September, warm. It was warm both of those days, very warm here in Charlotte. You can hear the helicopters circling. Different cops patrolling different streets, but they're all in unison, man. We need to stay together as a unit, regardless of where we go. You shouldn't say this group go this way, this group. Like you saw with the civil rights movement, when they sick the dogs on them, all them folks was together, man. They didn't split up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're missing. Even if, whether you respect the civil rights movement or not, they were a lot more organized, and then it was a lot more fierce. Of course, we didn't have dogs jumping on us. Now, they did fire at us, but you didn't have dogs, jumping on us. You didn't have white people spitting on us and things of that nature. You didn't have all that like you did back in the 60s. I talked to some of the old school heads, and they said it really was really brutal out there back in the. Because he said even one the Uber guy, the guy who picked me up, said he was a officer himself. and when he came back from Vietnam, and he said he was in D.C. standing patrol, and he said, man, it was off the chain. He said it was just madness out there. You know, people really getting hurt, people really getting killed to watch riots. You know, and people were really together, man. And you had people, you know, it was real. You could have got killed out there back then. And, you know, when we did it, one person got killed, but it wasn't really, it was serious to a point, but not like it was in the 60s where, you know, you were forced to be together. But now we shouldn't have to be forced into being together. We should just be a regular unit. And to tell you the truth, I saw as many white girls out there with us as black. And why was that? You know, I'm not saying that I wouldn't mind, you know, because we're not going to be able to do this by ourselves. So you're going to need some support from other people. But, you know, I didn't see a lot of black females. I saw some black females out there, but and of course the ones who led it, the Black Lives Matter, it was kind of mixed. But I didn't see too many. It seemed like to me, I saw as many white girls as I saw black girls. I didn't see too many black girls seriously out there looking to really do something, except for the Black Lives Matter females who were kind of leading the demonstration. But I wouldn't do it again, man, because first and foremost, man, we're gonna have to. We're not, just like I said, blacks aren't ready to run their own big, you know, run their own businesses on a large scale. Most blacks aren't as a whole. We're not ready. We're not ready to do anything really on a major scale. First, we would have to fix the root of the situation. We would have to fix our homes. You know, we're gonna have to have some homes that are ran in a patriarchal fashion. And then once we fix the homes, then each home, we will fix our street. Then street by, you know, home by home is how you do it. Street by street, we would have to fix. And then block by block. And then you'll fix your community. Because, you know, and then when you fix your community, when you fix one city, you can fix another city. And then we're going to have to take it slowly, step by step. It may take a long time to fix it. Well, you know, we're going to have to get blacks with our own, because our brother said, well, there's plenty of health clinics for blacks. I don't see them out here, bro. Give me the list of those clinics, because like I said, I mean, we need, like Dr. Bobby Wright said back in the 1980, he said he had the only black mental health clinic that specifically met the needs of black people. Not any health clinic. Because most health clinics aren't specifically for blacks. That's why blacks have to be totally gone before they even are looked at as needing help. Like, the only blacks who really get treated for in mental health clinics are ones that are so far gone to where they can't even deal on a basic level in modern day society. They've lost all control of their physical and mental faculties. You shouldn't have to be that far gone before you're getting help. You got the average white person who'll just talk to a psychiatrist just to get, you know, stress off his chest. You know, a lot of black men who have help, they're just sent to jail or to prison. That shouldn't happen. Same thing with black females. So, you know, we're going to have to do this step by step, household by household, house by house, street by street, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, city by city, and fix it. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I doubt it, but that's the way you got to fix that before you can have a strong march, or before you can have strong black businesses or strong black marches. Because right now everything is kind of backwards, and as a whole, we're not going to be taken seriously anymore, because, you know, it's just too much confusion out here nowadays. And I was older than a lot of those kids that were out there, but, you know, I was able to see the confusion firsthand, and, you know, it's not good, man. I'm not saying I got all the answers, but at the same time, you know, I know how to analyze it because I'm kind of Generation X. I'm in the middle, and you know, I know how to analyze it in such a way where I can pretty much say, hey, look, we're gonna need to do this. We're gonna need to do A before we can get to B. Because in some ways, too, a lot of these households is almost like the black female is the new face to white supremacy. And I'm gonna do a video on that as well, because I've already gone longer than I've wanted to with this video. But I'm gonna probably put a link in the description of some of the past, some of those videos that I took at the protest, at the 2016 protest. But yeah, man. But make sure to like, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the videos. I have about 4 or 5 up on my channel. One, you can actually hear the gunshots with the CMPD when they was firing at us. But I'll go ahead and you know, patch a link of the video in the subscription box. Be sure to like and subscribe. R.I.P. Keith Scott and your brother Justin Carr. And I'm out, man. Y'all be safe, all right? And if you took this personal, you know I'm glad. Later.